Alrighty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another weekly update. Hope everybody's having a lovely weekend. And with that being said, let's dive into the TA. All right, guys, we're going to kick it off here. The indices, then we're going to go over the FANG stocks, then the big chip stocks, Bitcoin stocks, as well as Bitcoin. And then I have 10 to 20 trade ideas for us. And that will be at the end of the video for us to pay attention into next week. And then after that, we will go over the notable flow that came in on Friday going into the following week, and then we will review the charts that go along with that flow. So that will be a new addition to the channel. Please remember, guys, if you do enjoy this content, please remember to like the video. I would appreciate it. And that being said, let's dive right into this TA. All right, guys, kicking off here on QQQ's weekly time frame, I am going to point out you have this downtrend you're coming in contact with right here. Right there. All right. We don't have much to watch here other than can you get above 477.50? If you can get above 477.50, you are very likely just going to make your way up here to this high. Now, if anybody remembers, this is pretty much exactly where our 0.786 fib was from this whole decline. If you take out 477.50, if price gets above there, gets above this 0.786 fib, that tells us we're likely coming up here to 485.54. If we come and revisit that spot, that big spot right here, you're very likely going to break out. All right. Or, you got two scenarios here. If you can get above 477.50, you come up here, you pull back, and then you go up. The other scenario is you just go straight up. And maybe we do what SPY did where you get real close to all-time highs and then you pull back and then you go up there. All right. So those are really the two scenarios I'm seeing over here on QQQ from this point on, as long as you can get above 477.50. All right. I will just point out here on the weekly time frame, you could see this downtrend, right? Well, QQQ has a history of not really wanting to stop at these downtrends. Maybe we'll pause right here, pull back for a day or two, and then continue higher, just like we did over here. Or we just keep going and we hit it with, maybe some sort of a break and retest off of, put on the magnet there, off of here. Okay. And that would be, pretty much just like what you did over here. Boom, boom, boom. That would be, honestly, in this scenario, that would just be this. And then we're going to go along the way. So, I mean, that's already one of the scenarios. I just want to point out that QQ does have a history of, getting these downtrends, and then you just bust out of them. You could see very clearly here on the weekly time frame, we had broken this one, leg up, broken that one, leg up, broke that one, leg up. You could see the same exact thing over on NQ, and NQ and QQ, they go hand in hand, guys. They're both just covering the Nasdaq. Very clearly see, all right, we had some sort of pennant going on over here. All right, you could clearly see it on the weekly time frame, how you broke out to a new high over here, pulled back. But, in reality, guys, this is a fresh breakout, and this was just your, massive consolidation here. Quite a bit of consolidation there, probably before we have another leg up. So, you've been dancing around that weekly 9 EMA right there. Notice how you were doing that. You finally broke out and you came back, you tested it here, found buyers, tested here, found buyers, here, found buyers. We're probably about to get back into a trending market. And, I've been seeing it on Twitter. This is being called the most hated rally. It's here. I agree. All right. There's probably a lot of people. We have, next week is a big week. We have FOMC, guys. And I'm just going to say, all right, I think big money is, loading up puts for that, for next week. It's not for next week. I'm seeing a lot of puts come in for 11.15 though, in the next year. And, I'm just going to say, guys, we're finally going to get a pivot. We're finally going to get a rate cut next week. It's kind of not guaranteed, but it's pretty much guaranteed. We're getting a rate cut. So we're about to see how the market is going to react to this. All right, we come over here to IWM. And, IWM looks like a monster in the making right now. I could see this week everything explodes some more. All right, just going off these charts. I know rate cuts. We got to wait and see what, the market reaction to that is. But in reality, these charts are definitely set up to rip. We have a lot of, bullish setups to pay attention to here. All right. So as far as QQ goes, guys, watch for sellers up to 477.50. If you can get above 477.50, you probably are coming straight up here to 485.54. Now on the downside is support. I'm going to just mark out that high right over there. We're going to have this high right over here. Okay. And then what are we also going to have? But just like that, really clear for us. All right. So resistance, you're literally just going to be watching 477.50. If you really want to be safe about it, if you get above 477.93, expect things to probably just come straight up here. As support on the downside, we have 474.04, 472.25, 469.37, then 465.36 if things get real hairy. I don't think they'll get real hairy. I think, if we pull back here, we probably consolidate right here and then have that next leg up. But considering NQ has already broken out here, guys, I think this is a solid shot. You just keep going. All right. This week was no joke. You had the worst week. All right. And then you had the best week. Worst week in 2024. Then you had the best week in 2024. Bears keep having these chances to really sell. And I keep saying they're not stepping up to the plate. They're not telling us they want to really, tank things. They don't want to see it happen. I don't know why, but, every time we get that opportunity for a larger sell, you don't get it. Okay. This thing, we're bullish on this dip here. All right. I want to talk about it. Do that. You even have golden pocket inception going on over here on NQ's weekly chart. Did you? No, what was I saying it on? There is a ticker where you just had golden pocket inception going on. All right. Regardless, guys, you're literally now sitting here. And you're very likely going to be breaking out here above this 0.786 fib. You've already broken on this downtrend. All right. So, if you're watching NQ, all right, above 19,694.25, you're probably going to move quickly up there to 19,846.25. And then up here, you're going to probably make your way up to that high at right around 20,000. All right. That is a big boy move for you to play. And, I'm not saying this happens all in one day, but things don't look bad at all going into next week. So it's definitely something we have to keep in the back of our mind. Things look great. Okay. Now moving on over here to SPY, you're right under all-time highs again. I know you got within, $2 of all-time highs over here. I understand. Okay. Within a freaking dollar. And then you died. But we were bullish on the pullback. Why? Because markets don't typically come back up to highs and then double top and then fall down. What's more likely is either you're going to break out of that, what people are calling double top, or you get the pullback, the spring gets loaded, and then you see what we're seeing right now. The fact that price got all the way up here, the fact that it got over the 0.786 fib tells us, all right, it's probably taking out this high. It didn't take out the high, which told us to be bullish on this dip. Now, how does it look on the weekly chart, you ask? Freaking phenomenal. All right. Again, bears had the chance with a big, nasty red candlestick last week, and you literally closed above the high of last week. The thing wants to rip faces. Okay. Get ready for it to continue ripping faces. You got increasing volume on the week. What are the levels we're going to be paying attention to, you ask? All right. On the upside is resistance, 563.03, 564.20, 565.16. Support is going to be 560.81, 559.36, and underneath there, we're watching this 554.87 to 557.32 zone. It was supposed to be supply here, as you see. Bulls kind of ran right through it. All right, you had sellers stepping in over here. They're trying to hold the line for a little bit, but then you flipped it. Expect it to be demand if tested. All right, that's your free trade idea of the week. We have a ton of them at the end of the video, but over here on the indices, all right, it looks phenomenal. And again, NQ already did that. It's looking phenomenal. How's the S looking, you ask? It also looks phenomenal. All right. Now moving on over here to IWM. We have this downtrend. You're in the golden pocket. We're watching the 0.786 fib, which is going to be 218.50. You get above 218.50. All right. And again, heavy volume here on this move. It's probably going to get another gap up. I think we're literally seeing this. All right. And then you have FOMC this week. Guys, if markets really do react positively over here, IWM is gonna rip freaking face to get all the way up here to 230. All right, I can see it here on the weekly chart. This thing wants to rip freaking faces. It's consolidating after it broke out above here. We've seen this on so many tickers before, guys. It's getting ready. Speaking of, doing this, what do you got over here? A big all-time high break and retest. Things that people want to say, all right, this thing doesn't look good. The thing looks freaking phenomenal. I don't care about the news. It looks phenomenal. All right, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Back to IWM, the support you're going to be paying attention to is going to be 216.27, 214.79, 212.25, 210.93, and 209.77. I don't think we're going to even get back down into here, but if it does, expect buyers there. As resistance, you're watching 218.50. Above 218.50, guys, you're breaking out of this downtrend. You're coming to 220.77. You're coming to the high up here at 222.45. And then you are very likely coming straight up here to 226.64. And again, 230. We are probably, with how this weekly chart is coiling up here, got that little fresh downtrend here. It's getting ready probably to come up here to 230, 230 plus. All right. Now, how's Mr. VIX asking? How is it looking? How's it looking, you ask? It's looking terrible. All right. It's not looking like it is about to bounce back. What I will point out is the hourly RSI is oversold now, and the 15-minute RSI has the 15-minute bullish divergence. So, you know, if you come back down, chances are this bullish divergence is probably going to hold. You come back down into here, that's going to be there. It's like, you know, if you have this with the 15-minute bullish divergence, and then you have QQQ with the 15-minute bearish divergence, like a massive bearish divergence, you should be cautious, all right? That's why I say, guys, we're right here in the golden pocket. Just wait to see if price can get up above 477.50, because if it does, all right, this RSI is probably going to come up and take out this high, and then boom, bearish divergence burned, then you have a larger rip. But, you know, for the time being, 15-minute bullish divergence over here on VIX, just to show you, you have it right there. QQ, you got a quadruple bearish divergence, 5 points of divergence, whatever you want to call this thing, it's there. All right, it's on the 15-minute time frame. Hourly RSI, all right, also getting overbought there. SPY, you also have that same exact 15-minute bearish divergence right there. I don't know if you're going to go back up and then form another one. I have no idea, but if these things get burned, just know that is likely right before you see a larger move up, and then we see another one form. But for the time being, you know, expect, you know, sellers to start stepping in. Maybe we get a pullback early on in the week, and then we, you know, rally back up. That's kind of what I was pointing out over here. Maybe you pull back a little bit and then break out. I don't know, guys. All right. But, you know, the fact that VIX is down here, hourly RSI is down here, 15-minute RSI is, you know, bullish divergence, as SPY and QQ have bearish divergence. It's definitely room for caution. All right. I don't think people should be blindly longing. Congrats if you, you know, were buying this dip. Congrats. But, you know, you take profits into highs. Okay, a lot of targets are going to be set at highs. You're probably going to get, you know, sellers stepping in at highs, or you're going to break above and then retest it. And then you have, you know, you could take profit into the highs. Even if it goes up here, probably it's going to pull back, and then boom, you could buy that. Just, you know, I just say there's no reason to have that FOMO right now, because you should have had the FOMO to buy when you saw the opportunity. I was, you know, screaming about the opportunity, and it's, you know, I get roasted online. That sucks. Okay. But at the end of the day, I put it out there on the line, and it was a great call. All right. I will not deny it was a great call on Google. It was a great call on Amazon. Great call on pretty much every single thing we're going to take a look at here. We made the bullish call. Down here, we made the bullish call right over here when things weren't looking too bad. Okay. And, you know, people want to think I'm a permabull. Guys, I'm going to call it like I see it. All right. When SPY broke under this daily 9 EMA right here, we were looking for further downside. It was very likely that until this thing could reclaim it, we're just going to be in consolidation, or you're going to keep pulling back. So we said, until you get above it, okay, expect that. But we got above it. And on a bunch of different tickers that we cover, you just dance around it for a few days. Right here, you got right back above it. And what were we saying? Well, if you can reclaim it, you're probably going all-time highs. We went straight to all-time highs. Same thing over here on QQ. You got reason to be cautious after you get underneath it. Okay, and it was actually right over here you got underneath it on QQ. But, you know, reality, you're looking for more downside or consolidation until you can reclaim it. That's when you really are going to see your rallies. You get back underneath it. All right, maybe you dance around for a little bit. But that's like kind of my short-term signal that, yes, it's on. Rallito, it's on. And, you know, it's on, guys. We're going to be in rally mode for a little bit, and that's how it is. All right, moving over here to the semiconductors, SMH coming right into the golden pocket, 239.14, 245.87, 250.85. Those are the levels that you're paying attention to. If you come up here, expect sellers stepping over here. But honestly, this thing, you know, it already broke out that downtrend, went for a little ride. You have another one right here. So if you can break out of this downtrend, you're probably going to either do this, all right, or you're just going to do this. All right, that's SMH for you. Support is going to be 230.05. NVIDIA, how we looking, guys? You came up here to the golden pocket. You're finding sellers at the golden pocket right there at the 0.618 fib. Your support now over here on NVIDIA, guys, you have 118.04. If you lose that, you're going to be watching that low of Thursday's candle at 115.38. And underneath there, all right, you can see it, I believe, on the hourly time frame right there, 111.92. But, you know, this thing's kind of flagging over here, and I'm going to show NVIDIA gets some really bullish flow going on there. So that is something to take note of. AVGO, what are we watching over here, guys? AVGO broke above the 0.786 fib on that day. So we were saying this thing's probably going to start running it up. You're probably coming up here. And if you come up here, you're probably coming up here. It's setting up to just keep going. All right. Weekly chart looks absolutely freaking phenomenal. All right. It looks amazing. You've been in all this consolidation. Notice how most of this price action taking place above where the last point of consolidation took place. This thing wants to rip freaking faces. Just extend that arrow there. You could see the increased volume there. Massive green candlestick. The thing very likely is going to break out of this downtrend. You're either going to consolidate right underneath it here and then break it, or you are going to break it and then consolidate above it and go, or you just go straight up. You got three paths for this guy. You go there, you go here. All right. Or you're going to go here. There you go on AVGO. AMD. Fresh downtrend break. Again, just like SMH, you broke that downtrend, you went for a ride. Well, now we have a fresh one with a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4 touch points. You just broke and retested it. It's very likely going higher. If you see sellers over here in this 153.64 to 157.05 supply zone, expect sellers to step in there. All right. And if you see that, that's where the opportunity lies. You could be pulling back and, you know, then you could get a nice long entry on that pullback. All right. Where are you going to be paying attention to? These levels that I'm marking out right here. Okay. This is where you want to be buying it. If it pulls back here, all of these are going to be right around where that trend line is. You probably get buyers stepping on around there, and you probably are taking a ride up here, up into this golden pocket. Probably going to take out that high. SMCI. All right. Again, with the downtrends, guys, you got them everywhere right now. You're pushing up to them. We're going to have to see how this goes. I could see something right here. See a little falling wedge action right there. You know, in reality, guys, this thing's been hated, and it can definitely go for a ride. I'm just going to say I think it's right around the corner. It's either going to happen on this downtrend break here, or it's going to happen from you coming down here because they didn't post their 10K or something I was seeing on Friday. And now it's going to die again, just like it did over here. So I don't know if it's going to do that, but if it does, we're looking over here as your buy zone. Okay. TSM. Okay. Dips are buying opportunities. You just broke out of that downtrend. If you pull it back into 167.67, that is where I like this thing. And yeah, at the end of the day, you're in the golden pocket. So this is where we expect some sellers or consolidation. You already saw them over here. You saw them right here. You're seeing them again right here. This thing is setting up with an inverse head and shoulders. If you were to pull back and go like that, you're going to now have this. All right. Take the stupid magnet off. Shoulder, head, shoulder. All right. That's what I'm watching over on TSM. MU, guys, is one that we got to be paying attention to. I pointed out when we got the hammer candlestick going into Friday. Well, on Friday, guys, you had that continuation candlestick confirming that this is very likely a short-term low over here. You are probably getting ready for a run here. All right. You just broke out of that downtrend. You hit it with the break and retest. Broke out, retest. Now you're going. You're above the daily 9. All right. We want to see another candle print above that daily 9. And I'm going to say this thing's probably going to go for a little, you know, decent move here, like it did over there. $15 move from the lows. You had a $25 move. Well, that would bring us all the way back up here. So, you know, I do think there's a solid shot that this thing starts recovering. And I think it's time to love MU again. All right. That's just my opinion on the weekly chart. Just printing a hammer candlestick off of increasing volume. Right there, you could see it. And it happens to be right around the top of this previous consolidation. I like it. All right. ARM, I told you the game plan over here. All right. If it gets above this level right here at 145, you look for the pullback. This is going to be opportunity. 135.41 is the level I have marked out. It's the high of that. But in reality, you know, you could literally pull right here. That's going to be the top of that. You know, it would be the break and retest right over there at 138.05. So we'll call it 135.41 to 138.05. That's your watch and support here. If you pull back in, that's your break and retest setup. I really like that thing. It's probably going to be a winning setup. Or you continue just going here because you had massive volume last week And yeah, you could head up there. All right. These things look explosive. They look like they could run. QCOM also, you know, it's a piece of poop because you broke down. I was really excited for this one. Then you broke down. Okay. All right. Luckily, I didn't try and front run the range break there. But yeah, you pulled back to the golden pocket. You're coming up here. Expect sellers at 168.74. If you get above 172.27, you're probably coming up to the high over here at 176.36. All right. And that's all I'm going to say on this one. I don't suggest touching it, but I am definitely going to say downtrend break, baby, incoming. Maybe you get some consolidation here in the golden pocket, get a pullback. That's your break and retest buying opportunity. I don't know. It looks really good to me, though. Let's go over these big boys, guys. Amazon, you hit our 188.65 level right there on the weekly chart. You had this big, nasty green wide-bodied bar, all right, increasing volume. It's probably going to continue higher, all right? If it pulls back, it's your buying opportunity. If it pulls back right into here, 182.39, that's your break and retest setup. That's where I'm going to become interested again. But again, like I mentioned in the last video, guys, if you rode this one up with me, it is time to take them freaking profits, all right? I will not give financial advice because I'm not a financial advisor, but I am telling you right now, I know if you're entering here, if you're entering down here, you're up big and there's no reason to not take profits on it. And this thing very well could pull back here and, you know, you're going to just get another opportunity. All right, we're going to come over here to Goog. Goog, top watch going on right now. I don't know if it's going to pull back here. We got a big put order right here that stood out. But I'm just going to say if it pulls back in the short term, it's pulling back to this 9 EMA right over here around 156.60. That's going to be your buying opportunity. All right. And I think it's probably about to break out this downtrend, then we get a larger move. So definitely going to be watching Goog. Apple over here, guys, you got above your daily 9 EMA and now you're dancing around. It's the same exact thing we cover when you get underneath these things. Expect to either, you know, go above it and then pull back to it or just dance around it. Right now, you're doing exactly that. Okay, above 223.90, you're looking for 227.48 and then 232.92. On the downside is support. You know, a level that really is sticking out right here, 219.77, 217.48, and then you come back to 213.50. But, you know, this thing looks like it's probably going to be recovering here. Weekly chart don't look too terrible, but it's not the best. But, you know, I'm also going to say this thing kind of looks like a monster. I really like the, you know, macro look of this thing. It looks beautiful. So, you know, very likely continuing higher. Meta, all right. Expect sellers in this zone, you guys. 531.49 down to 523.86. Expect sellers. That is that. I'm not going to say anything more than that. Nothing has changed over here on Meta for quite some time. If it pulls back into the 9 over here, 514.95, buy it. No financial advice, but you're probably going to see buyers stepping over there. Microsoft, guys, you're in your supply zone above 430.82. You're coming up here to 436. We'll just call it 437. All right. 445 is the clear as day. 445. 6-tick clears day resistance right there. That's what I'm watching. On the downside of support, you have 425.86, 419.88, and 413. Tesla, guys, all right, you got this uptrend. You watch for either a breakdown of that uptrend or you watch for this level right here, 233.09, to break. If you get a daily close above there, this is probably about to get a larger move up. Maybe even come back up these highs. Maybe it doesn't even care about this golden pocket. You already had sellers stepping in once here, all right, and now you faded that. That sets you up for, you know, a very powerful move that can take place here. And I think there's a probability that it is going to be taking place. All right. So Tesla, I'm going to be watching it. That's that, guys. You see it either break down here, and then we're going to be watching down here. All right. Either it's going to break this uptrend. We're watching for a move down to 210. And then a move down to 202.59, or it's going to break up. We watch for a move up to 245.63 and then 250. And then above 250, we're watching 265. Above 252, to be exact. Then we're watching 265. All right. Bitcoin, guys, weekly chart, not looking bad at all. All right. Increasing volume on this recovery there. Broke out that downtrend, hit it with the break and retest like some of these other tickers we just covered. All right. And, you know, above that daily 9, this thing's looking juicy, guys. Support is 59.313. Underneath there, watch for 58.070. And then if you can take out yesterday's high at 60,607, you're coming up to 61,809 and then 63,794. We're going to be expecting sellers to step in here in the golden pocket, which is exactly where they're stepping in. Look at that, guys. All right. Coin, keep in mind, Bitcoin weekly chart looking good. Coin still in this over here, this falling wedge pattern right there. So watch for a breakout there. But what I really want to, put your attention on, your focus here, is going to be MSTR and Mara. All right, MSTR, Mara, and CLSK, these are looking pretty juicy. You just got a fresh breakout here. Weekly charts looking phenomenal. All right, you got this consolidation. It likes to keep coming up to tag the bottom of the range to the top of the range. It very well could come up and tag the top of the range next. This thing can get pretty explosive here. After a big move up, expect consolidation and then another move up, just like we got over here. Okay, so it very well can happen. But this thing likes its downtrend breaks, and I think it's about to go for a ride. Maybe it consolidates a little after breaking these things, but at the end of the day, this thing really does want to go for a ride here with all likelihood. All right, go for a ride, go for a ride, go for a ride. All right, have that little downtrend right there, go for a ride. A little downtrend, go for a ride. Downtrend, go for a ride. It's probably about to come up here to 150 to 160. Boom. All right, put it on your radar. Mara, guys, you got above this daily 9. You also got your fresh breakout with increasing volume. I don't necessarily like Friday's candlestick, but I do like how you fully recovered here and then broke out. All right, you've literally swept all over here. That sets up, people expecting to go a lot lower. Next big spot is going to be all the way down here at like $11, 1070, 1080 down there. So people probably shorts got involved, and what happened? You started bouncing back. So I do think, any pullbacks over here are buying opportunities. But I really do like the MSTR chart instead. I wish I had a call expiring yesterday, and I sold near open, and then the thing freaking ripped faces. And I was like, that was the move I wanted to play. Man, I just didn't wait. It would have went to zero. I was like, it's almost at break even. Let me get out of this thing. I don't like weeklies, guys. I really don't. I have been playing them. I do not like them, though. It wasn't a weekly when I bought it. Either way, guys, weeklies, data just eats into you. It really does. Tesla ate into me. But you come over here to Mara. All right, fresh breakout. If you can, get buyers really getting a daily close above 1620, you're probably going to come up here to 1873 and then 1991. All right, CLSK, you also have that downtrend. You did not get above the daily 9. We're going to need to see that recovered. And then I'm looking for a, this move up here. If you could start breaking out, that is when you're probably pushing straight up here to 1272. And then, up here to 1391. And that's a decent sized move. All right. Now we're going to look at the setups, and then we can go over the notable flow and then the charts that go along with that notable flow. And that will be the end to our video. Now, first thing I want to point out, guys, we already did talk about Goog, but this is definitely the, big boy that's setting up, just like we had Amazon just explode off us. Google is probably the next one to do that. So I'll put that on your radar. PayPal, we already talked about this one, but this thing's looking really juicy here. Weekly hammer candlestick off of the weekly 9 there. I erased the arrows, but this is one arrow was going here. One arrow was going here. I erased them, but as you could see, that is exactly how that happened. You stalled out resistance up here. It could be seen on the daily time frame. All right, and then you pulled back, hit it with the break and retest. This is the top of, I think it was like a 6-month range. 200 days right there. That's like 7 months right there. This thing is probably going higher. And after it just printed this weekly hammer, we can expect it to come back up and tag 7250. If it can really get above 7250, though, 7654 and then 7927. All right, Roblox, this was also something I mentioned last week. It is looking really good here on the weekly time frame. It looks like it just really started its ascent there. All right, we can clearly see this thing can get legs. It can grow those legs. If it pulls back, since the daily RSI is overbought, I'm not telling anybody to buy this thing. If it pulls back, though, 44.85, I think that is the short-term trade idea right there. It's either going to get bought up here, it gets bought out, or bought up at this downtrend retest. MSTR, we already talked about it, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time, but definitely something that looks sexy. Mara, we already talked about it. AMD, we did already talk about it, but fresh downtrend break right there. AVGO, we also talked about it, about to break that downtrend. RK, we did not talk about. You do have a fresh downtrend break here, and if you can break above 46.31, we're probably going to start heading up there to fill up that gap, 47.46. Either way, pull back right here, retest that downtrend. I like it. I'm going to set an alert for it just in case we do get the 45 retest there, which would be the retest of that downtrend. TSM, we already talked about it, but I like it on this pullback here into 167.67. Netflix, guys, fresh breakout on Friday. Weekly candle does not look so bad at all. Pulled back to the weekly 9 here. And, again, like I just talked about the concept, all right? I can't, hammer it into your minds anymore. Do not expect things to just slice above these things. They typically pull back. I know sometimes it can happen, but, a lot of the time you get above, you pull back, all right? And you pull back and you pull back, okay? You get above, you pull back, you failed. All right, you get above, you pull back, you're not failing. This thing looks like it's going to come up to 711.33 again for a test. There you go. Coin, we talked about it. Falling wedge setup right there. GME, all right. I'm not going to be trading this thing, but I know some of you guys like to trade this guy. You're back in your demand zone. This is where we found buyers last time. You also do have this bullish divergence here on the daily RSI. Upstart, this thing on the weekly charts looking phenomenal. Again, pull back to that weekly 9 right here, as well as the break and retest off 32.78. And now you're back above this 36.96 resistance. This thing looks like it's about to head up to 45.71. And if you can see, all right, you got like a double bottom kind of thing here going on. And if you really could break above 49 bucks, that's when this thing's probably pushing up here. I'm not saying that's going to happen. All right, but I am definitely going to point out that it is possible there in the weekly chart. It looks explosive. Rivian, something that's just ranging out here in the golden pocket. I think we didn't see a rally off of this downtrend break, but I think it's very possible that this is the downtrend that is being watched. And it just broke out and it's retesting it. So we're going to talk about it. In reality, you need to really break above 14.13. And I want to see that level retested. And then we probably start coming up to 15.34, 15.85, and then up into the zone. But yeah, fresh downtrend break, guys. It's really my favorite setup that I like coming across. It is definitely something that's very clear as day. And it's there. All right. But you're currently sitting in the range. You got to really get above 14.13. And then base, come back. I want to see the retest there, and then you move up. Regardless, fresh downtrend break. Tesla, we already talked about it. We're not going to talk about it some more. Disney break and retest off that downtrend. Weekly hammer candlestick, increasing volume off that retest right there. Doesn't look bad at all over here. You got to get above that weekly 9, though, because you got rejected over here. And ever since you got underneath it, all right, you've been in a downtrend. So you want to flip things, get above it. All right, get above it. You see this thing got under, pull back, pull back, pull back, pull back. You're starting to get above it. You failed, and then you really got above it, and you held it, and then you launched. Probably see it dance around that if it gets above it. Target, guys, we called it out. We've been watching it, so this is just a little update. I'm going to give some updates on last week's plays, trade ideas that going into this, last week. Over here, all right, we were watching this golden pocket. You literally bounced right off of that 145.90, 0.618 fib there. You could have came a little lower, retest that trend line, but you didn't. All right. It's looking phenomenal here. You got the weekly pin bar candlestick holding that weekly 9 here. Again, you came back and retested it. It's looking like it's about to run back up. Probably comes back up to 162.21. All right. HIMS, we called that one out. Falling wedge pattern right there. You did break underneath this 0.786 fib. Okay. But at the end of the day, you were still in this falling wedge pattern, and now you're broken out. It's not looking bad at all. Weekly chart's looking great. All right, AI, we called this one out, and guys, I think this one's really just getting started here. We pointed this one out literally the other day before this big green candlestick. Well, now that big green candlestick with increasing volume, it has broken us out. If you pull back into the daily 9 here, all right, I'm going to just put an alert there. That is a buying opportunity, in my personal opinion. All right. It's expected that sellers are going to be stepping in here, but if you can get above, that's when this thing is probably quickly going to start moving up here to the next resistance at 26.10. All right, Carvana, we pointed that one out as well, coming into the golden pocket last week. You did find buyers there, and now you put a weekly hammer in. Do not be surprised if this thing runs back up the highs, but also it broke down from this massive uptrend, so it could also be just retesting that broken uptrend. CAT, we pointed that one out last week. Just a little review, guys. Just a little review. We liked it at the golden pocket, 0.618 fib. What happened? You came down. That was your exact bottom, and you rallied from there. This thing looks like it's probably going to come back up to the high. All right. Just again, giving a little update on last week's trade ideas. You came back into this big spot, very big zone here. We were, just like it was a supply zone over here. Well, now you got above it. We were expecting it to be a demand zone. You've now broken out of that, out of this little downtrend after finding buyers over there at your demand zone. And, you know, I think this thing is probably going higher here. It's, you know, just judging by how this weekly chart looks. First leg pullback again to the weekly 9. It's probably about to take out that high and go higher. So definitely something to watch there. But we called it out last week. I wouldn't be just sitting there long in it now. D-King, another one we pointed out. All right. Looking good over here. Again, same concept we just went over. It was supply. All right. It's demand over here. It's demand. Come back in. It's being treated as supply. You get above it. All right. Expect it to start being treated as demand. Same exact concept, guys. It's like over here. All right. I know, like, you know, I know you did that, but in reality, you still had sellers step in right here. If you were long over here, you had a perfect take profit spot. As you came into these lows over here, that's, you know, past demand. I just had a brain fart, word vomit, whatever that thing was. Either way, you had all these lows over here. They're acting as demand. You came back into it. I know it was only for a day, but sellers still, you know, they prevailed there. Okay. And it's the same concept as right here. You had this high over here. What happens? It was supply right there. You got above it, demand. All right. So it's the same exact concept, guys. You don't need to make things complicated. But that is the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was a bit of a longer video, 36-minute video. That is fine. It's a weekly update. We are fully prepared to take on the upcoming week. Just a reminder before I go, guys, you do have a fresh breakout over here at NQ. We are likely going to be coming up to this high. All right. You have QQQ sitting right here. All you have to pay attention to, set alert for 477.60. All right. If you take that out, I'm just going to do it right there, 478-ish. If you hit that alert, expect you to come up here. This is probably going to be the next move. Things are looking pretty gnarly. All right. And with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, remember to leave a like so we could get this video out to more people. All right. You scratch my back. I'll scratch your back as much as I possibly can. All right. But yeah, I will catch you all in the next one, which will be on Monday, and peace. Alrighty, guys, I did forget to go over the flow. So if you would like to see the flow, the most notable flow we saw on Friday, these very just massive orders coming in, and then the charts that go with that flow, go check out the Twitter. Link will be down below. I will be posting those over the next 2 hours. So I will catch you over there. Now, peace.